Wow, I really mishit that towards the toe. Did you know that most every drive you will ever hit is a mishit to some extent? In this video, we're going to be taking a look at how the different mishits you might make will affect the flight of your drives. Also, how mishits might fool you into thinking certain things about your swing that might not actually be going on. And third, we'll take a look at some of the root causes of the common mishits, like the one I just made. Hey, this is Steve from hititlonger.com. I'm on a journey to hit longer, straighter shots. If you are too, then please consider liking this video. If you get something out of it, consider subscribing, and that way you'll get notification of all my videos to come. Okay, up here in the corner I've posted the data, the TrackMan data, which is sitting right here in front of me, up on the screen. The one thing you'll notice here, I've got a path of 1 degree into out. The face angle is open 2 degrees, so ordinarily you would think that the ball should have faded a little bit, but instead you'll see here it's got nearly 30 degrees of hook spin, so it was a very sharp hook into the left rough. It started off a little to the right. So the way I could do that, get hook spin out of an open face, is simply because I mishit the ball way out towards the toe. But of course, mishits like this, and just about all our drives will be mishits, even if they're just one dimple anywhere around the face at a miss, it's going to affect the flight of the ball. Now the ball I just hit, it had a severe effect because I missed so far out towards the toe from the center. So because your driver has a bulge and roll, meaning that the club face is not exactly flat, it's a little like a dome or a curve to it. So you have bulge running from east to west, you have roll running from north to south, and anywhere off the middle is going to give make the club give the ball something called a gear effect. So it's like 2 gears working in opposite directions to each other. So as I hit the toe, the rest of the club, or the center of mass of the club head, is going to continue moving on while the toe of the club gets slowed down by the collision with the ball. Therefore, the face will twist open. But then you'll have the opposite gear effect where the ball will start out to the right and probably hook back again. So it's a little bit of a self-correcting mechanism. Same thing with the heel, only opposite. If I hit the ball in the heel like this, the club face is going to close, sending the ball off to the left. Hopefully it'll have enough correcting spin to bring it back towards the fairway again. Because it also has a vertical roll to it, this club, if I were to hit the ball low on the face, down here, the top of the club is going to go over like this and cause the ball to be launched low. However, the roll of the club will cause the ball to spin more to keep it airborne longer and get you down the fairway. Off the top of the club, the bottom keeps going and it forces more loft onto the club, hitting the ball up high. But there'll be less backspin, and so the ball will go high and flat and come out of the sky very quickly. So gear effect is in play on virtually every shot you hit, because you're almost never going to hit on the exact molecule that represents the center of mass of this club head. You might only be missing dimples here and there, but it's still going to have a slight effect. Maybe not visually until you get out maybe up to 1/4 to 1/2 an inch off the club, and then you start noticing a little bit of difference in ball flight. So many golfers, including very good golfers, they get misled trying to read the shot and gather information about what their swing might be doing. If they are making a consistent mishit, it's going to mask what may be going on with their path or their setup maybe, and you might come to some poor conclusions about how you're swinging the club if you don't know precisely where you're hitting it on the face. So I would recommend go to the dollar store or the drugstore and make sure you have a can of the foot powder spray that you can spray on the face and record that way. In the paint on the face, you can record where the ball is striking. If you have a trend, then it's not only something you would like to fix, but also something where you know, hey, I don't want to get misled by where my ball is going because of these mishits. So the shot I just hit hooked very badly because I hit it in the toe, hooked into the left rough. I might be misled into thinking my grip is too strong, or maybe my path is too far into out. Similarly, many golfers have a pattern of hitting the ball in the heel. It's very common, even amongst very good golfers. In this case, you could swing inside to out, and your ball could start to the left of the target and slice. The TrackMan would read it as an in-to-out path and a closed face. And so if you didn't know what you were talking about, you might think, what the heck, how could I possibly slice the ball in from the left if my path was to the right and the face was closed? You'd think that the ball would start right and hook. But that's just indicating that you've made a fairly substantial hit off the heel. So you can see from those a couple of examples how even a better player might get fooled if they're consistently making a mishit. They might get fooled into changing their swing or changing their grip or alignment for the worse. Okay, let's talk about some general explanations on what's happening during your swing if you're hitting any of these misses. So let's start off with the toe hit that I just made at the beginning of the video. It was a very poor swing. I hit the ball way out towards the end, and a general explanation is that I just simply didn't move my body enough around the corner, and the release of my hands was simply too early. So the club came in closing, the toe was leading, and then the ball was struck in the toe, squaring back up the face, making it start a little bit straight, and then hooking it into the left rough. A heel hit, the most common explanation, there's a lot of explanations for hitting it in the heel, and that's why it's so common. Heel hits could be, number one, it could be you're not releasing the club soon enough or free enough. It could also be because you've got some early extension or stand-up. The shaft is coming in tall with the handle leading, and you're simply leading the heel of the club right into the ball like this. So there's a much greater probability that I'm going to hit the heel, and effectively the sweet spot becomes extremely narrow as the club comes in at that angle. What you don't want to get fooled about heel and toe, a very common misperception about heel and toe hits, is that they have anything to do with how far you're standing from the ball. Now this is mostly 99% not going to be the case. The heel hits simply means your body is out ahead or moving poorly, and the toe hits simply mean that the body just isn't moving enough and the snap or release of the hands has outraced it. The mishit off the top of the club is very interesting, especially if you're hitting it off the crown and popping it up. The general explanation is that you're just hitting down on your drives. So your angle of attack is poor, it's downwards into the ground, and that way I could come down and hit the ball halfway up the crown, pop it straight up in the air. This won't happen if you're hitting up on the ball with a positive angle of attack. And if you are crowning it, popping it up, I would suggest you take my 5 ways video of increasing your angle of attack. Of course, another very simple explanation for why you might be consistently crowning the ball is you're just simply teeing it up too high. Similarly, if you're hitting the ball off the bottom of the club, you could be teeing it up too low, but that's more unlikely, as you probably would have considered that already and started teeing it higher just out of logic. But if you're consistently hitting the ball low on the club, those low hits often come with heel hits as well. So a lot of low hits towards the heel, I'll refer you back to the heel section I just talked about a minute ago. Okay, up on the screen now is a drive I hit earlier in the session. It's a low pull hook down the left side into the left rough. Not a very pretty drive at all. And you can see there that the path is inside out, but the face is very shut. And yet the ball does not, it has a tiny bit of hook spin. It didn't have slice spin in this case, so it wasn't true to the rules. However, at this face to path ratio, if it was in a sweet spot, it would have been hooking much more severely than it did. It was nearly straight, just a little bit of hook, and yet there's a huge differential between face and path, exposing the fact that I hit the ball way on the heel. So in that case, I pulled the ball right into the left rough, right off the tee. I hit it low. If I didn't know where I was hitting it on the face, if I didn't have a good feel for where I was striking the face consistently, number one, I might think that I'm outside in and pulling it. Number two, I might think I need more loft on my driver. And yet the solution is completely different than you might think. Hey, so that was a good drive down the right-hand side, but I know by feel that I caught that ball slightly low and slightly towards the heel. So hey, I hope you found value in a little bit of a discussion about mishits, what happens to the flight of your ball, how you might be misled, and what are some of the common causes of those mishits. If you have any questions, please feel free to leave them down below. I answer most of the questions left in the comment section below. Also, you can consider liking the video and subscribe to my channel if you got value out of this, as I do a lot of videos on teeing off longer and straighter and helping you with your long game. As always, thanks to Golf Development Complex here in Moorpark, California. Thanks for watching. I hope to see you next time, or maybe longer and straighter down the fairway.